Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Othercide. So, we are approaching the final boss of the game on the first recollection. We do have two daughters we can use to do a mission if we choose to do so, like the Forbidden Attic mission. I don't really think we will, because I don't think we're gonna do it. So, let's advance the next day and go to the fifth boss. The fifth boss, so the final boss. So, in the final boss, you're allowed to have 5 daughters. Okay? So, which daughters should you pick? Now, you should at least have 2 soul slingers because the boss has a melee interruption ability, so having ranged characters is really useful. I like to go with 3 soul slingers, so I like to bring all my soul slingers, Claire, Jill, and Melody. Now we have to heal them, and we need to pick characters to heal them because they're quite low on health. Chris is also low on health, but she's level 14. It's going to be hard to heal her because she's such a high level. I can use her to heal someone else, but then I will lose all the memory. I'm not going to do so. Okay? So, the team I'm going to bring is, as I said before, you can have 2 soul slingers minimum, and the rest you can mix and match. It really doesn't matter. But for me, I like to have 3 soul slingers. 1, 2, 3. 3 soul slinger, 1 blade master, which is going to be Chris. Either a shield bearer or the scythe dancer. It's really up to you which one you pick. The scythe dancer can steal armor. The shield bearer can get armor buff. So they're both as useful as each other. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go with the shield bearer because I need to use someone to heal Melody, and it's either going to be Jill or Melody. So I'm going to use Blanche to heal Melody first because Melody is very low on health. Yep. End of turn delay minus 11.
Her light grows
and
stronger.
then I'm going to use Serene to heal Claire. So, because it's the final boss, I just want everyone to have the maximum amount of HP. So, yeah, because it's the final boss, everyone should have as much HP as possible. Don't worry about sacrificing your daughter. It doesn't really matter. Because it is the final boss battle, you just want everybody to have the maximum HP. Now, Carla is going to be a bit harder to heal because there's no one I can use to heal. I could use Chris to heal Carla, but I'm not going to do so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to resurrect.
Remember their courage.
Either Blanche or Serene and sacrifice them. I'm going to go with Serene because, or I can go with Blanche because I can start my turn faster and deal a ton of damage. I'm going to use damage. Okay, so I just want to give Carla damage. I could also give her starting position minus 5 and then turn delay minus something as well. Okay, now we're going to go with Carla. So everybody's healed, or I healed as many people as I can. I can't heal Chris because he's so high level. It's going to be more difficult to do so. Carla, Chris, and 3 on my soul slinger. Okay, so 1 shield bearer, 1 blade master, and 3 soul slingers. So let's go through their memory. The shield bearer. Lunge. I just increased damage here. It doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you like here. Armor reduction, whichever you prefer. I just put damage. I probably can give her something else better, maybe increasing crit chance. It doesn't really matter. Extra damage is always good. Slam, just initiative delay on this attack because you can continue to delay other enemies. So now with extra 20 initiative delay, I can delay 45 initiative units per hit. Now, you are able to delay the boss with initiative delay skills, you're able to delay him, but like all bosses, they have resistance to initiative delay. The final form of the boss cannot be delayed, no matter what. Blacksmith's Grace, I just give him armor, extra armor. It's always going to help, you know, have extra armor. I could give him her 800 armor, but 600 is more than enough to tank the attack from the boss. Plus 180 armor, plus the base armor, it's going to be like 809. It's going to be almost 900 armor. Saving Grace, really here I just want to increase damage of Saving Grace. I won't be using it that often. I guess I could just increase the damage of the skill. Something like this. Probably I find something a bit cheaper. Yeah, something like this. Just increase the damage of the skill. Immobilizing is not that useful. Previously it's useful. It really doesn't matter too much. I'm not going to use it that often. Saving Grace, it's not like the child, which you have to use a lot of interruption skills. It doesn't matter here too much. A lot of the final boss's attack can be interrupted anyway. Shield Charge, again, just initiative delay to further push enemies back the timeline. It already delays by 20 initiative units. I add an extra 15 units initiative delay. You can put 20, 25, whatever is available to you. Chris, here I just want to increase damage. As much damage as possible. The higher the damage, the better it is. Because that's her main attack. Imbue Blade, I just want to increase crit chance. I'm not going to use it again that often. It's not something that's really I'm going to use it that often. The delayed attack against bosses. Lightning Strike, I'm going to put initiative delay. Here you can also add armor reduction or just simply increase damage. But delaying enemies is always good. And yes, the final form of the boss can't be delayed, but still, the other phases, the earlier phases of the boss can be delayed. Sidestep, extra 400 armor every time she sidesteps. Give her a bit of extra protection. And Menacing Stance, just to increase the damage further. Now, I could increase the damage of the skill by 60%, just to give it a bit more damage. Whatever you have available, I guess. Okay? Claire, shot, increase damage by 100. Now, with a regular shot, it's better to increase the damage by a numerical amount than by a percentage. So, I find it's more helpful. But later on, you can increase the damage by 60% if it's available. I just increase the shot by 100 damage. Interception rounds, just crit chance. Again, we won't be using it that often. There are some attacks that can be intercepted, but in the final form of the boss, we will use it, but we don't need interception rounds to do a lot of damage. We only need it to cancel attacks. The attack cancellation is better than the damage it does. Shadow rounds, just increase damage of shadow rounds. You can also remove armor here. If you have extra initiative delay, you can use it, but I prefer to use, if I was to have initiative delay abilities, I like to have it on the regular shot. It's much better than shadow rounds because I don't have to use waste health. Yeah, just increase damage here. You can't go wrong by increasing damage. Spirit Haste, target act 15 initiative units sooner. So they can act earlier. It's pretty self-explaining, this one. And Spirit Burst. Spirit Burst, this is important. You need to have something like this. Increase the target resistance to delay by 100% for 90 initiative units. This is important because the boss, the final form of the boss, can initiative delay you. So she has an AoE, or the boss has an AoE initiative delay ability. So the boss can push all of your character back at the timeline. So having resistance to initiative delay is very important. The reason I have it on Spirit Burst rather than Spirit Haste is because Spirit Burst is an AoE buff. I can hit multiple targets with it. So this is important. If you don't have this, you try to find something that gives you resistance to initiative delay. It doesn't have to be for 90 initiative units. It could be even for 50 initiative units. It still will help you, but you should be able to get some, you should be able to get this one. Towards the end, like on the 5th week, a lot of enemies will drop this as a memory. So we'll go through their stats a little bit later. So gel, the regular shot, I want to reduce, so I want to delay the target by 25 initiative units. So if you have initiative delay, it's best to put on AoE abilities or the regular shot. Alternatively, you can put on teleporting attacks for the Blade Master. It's also very useful. This is just to delay enemies on the timeline. It's self-explaining. I don't need it to do that much damage. Geo is there to delay enemy targets. Interception rounds. I'll just add something here. It doesn't really matter what it is. Again, I don't need interception rounds to do damage. I simply need it to cancel attacks. So yeah, something like this. I don't really care too much. Shadow rounds. Shadow rounds do a lot of damage, so I want to increase the damage further of this particular skill. Something like this. Increase the damage by 30%. Now, you can use this epicenter as well to give yourself armor every time you use shadow rounds, but I just find extra damage better. Okay, and protective force, I will use immobilizing the target, because I always use target immobilizing on protective force. You don't really need protective force for the final boss. You can't immobilize the final boss anyway, because the final boss can teleport, so it's kind of not that useful. But I won't be using protective force that often anyway, because it's not that effective against bosses. Yes, you can push them away, but they will still be able to get you. And immobilizing enemy targets it's really just good against the small minions. So the boss will spawn some smaller enemies, and immobilizing is kind of useful there. You could also simply just increase the damage of the skill, put initiative delay if you wish to do so. I just put immobilizing. Spirit burst here. Now, you can have target act 15 initiative units sooner, or alternatively, you can also give resistance to initiative delay. Both is okay. I think because it increases the target resistance to initiative delay by 100 for 90 initiative units, I just need one character to have it. I don't need everybody to have this, because if it overlaps, it doesn't stack anyway. So, like, if you get buffed twice, it's still for 90 initiative units. It's not like 180 initiative units. So, and finally, Melody. Again, regular shot, increase the damage. You can also put initiative delay, interception rounds, increasing crit chance. Interception rounds, I don't need it to do that much damage. I just need it to cancel attacks. Shadow rounds, I want armor reduction. Now, the final form of the boss does have armor, so having armor reduction is kind of useful. You could have even more armor reduction, like this one, if you wish to do so. Spirit haste, just the target act 15 initiative units sooner. Same as what I had before on Claire as well. So I can just buff my units sooner. I just push everybody quicker on the timeline. And detonating shot. Detonating shot, you could just simply increase damage here, but I like to have initiative delay. It's really good. I just double check if I have anything else. You can also increase the damage of the skill by 30%. So you can also increase so detonating shot, you can also increase damage of the skill, but I like the initiative delay. I think it's a bit better. Okay, let's go through the stat and the traits of the character. So that's her stat. decent amount of dodge, very low crit chance. And that's her traits. She doesn't have that many. Shield bearers don't seem to get a lot of traits. Sorry, my bad. That's not what I meant to do. So this is stat for Chris. A very high crit chance and crit damage as well. And here's her traits. Just so many traits. Increased damage, AP, etc. She has just so many traits. Crit damage plus 20. So many. And that's a stat for Claire. And that's the stat for Jill. Jill doesn't have that much AP. It seems random, but she has extra damage, Hawkeye, crit damage, initiative push resistance, and she has a leader buff. Leader is very useful because it's an aura buff, so it can actually stack, I think. Yeah, it can stack. So, again, she has a leader buff. It can actually stack. And she has very high dodge, Melody. Okay, let's go confront the boss.
We must break the tie that binds the child to suffering.
As I said, you are allowed to bring 5.
We must break the tie that binds the child to suffering.
You are allowed to bring 5 daughters. So now the order of the daughter doesn't really matter. You can just put any order that you want. It doesn't really matter too much. It doesn't make it much of a difference. I went with 1 shield bearer, 1 blade master, and 3 soul slinger. You can also swap out one of the soul slinger for shield bearer for the scythe dancer. You can also go with a scythe dancer, blade master, and 3 soul slinger. It's up to you. There's so many variations that you can do. Now, in the final boss, in the Birth Elysium, you will start meeting like a small minions of the boss. They're basically corrupted daughters, and you had to fight. And the boss will constantly spawn corrupted daughters. In addition to that, the boss has 2 forms. So, and each form has transformation, which set the boss's initiative to 0. Just be aware of that. It's a long boss battle. There are many stages to it. And also, you'll be fighting a lot of small minions. Basically, small corrupted daughters. Okay, let's get going.
What more must we sacrifice before the end? Suffering builds his paradise with the blood of our daughters.
Okay, you see, there's a lot of corrupted daughters spawning in. So, these are gonna be able to attack you. So, it's like a regular mission with a lot of small enemies that you have to defeat before you fight the boss. Now, it's similar to the first boss battle, with the exception that if you defeat all the daughters, the boss doesn't go crazy, unlike the first boss battle. Now, the boss will spawn in at 42. It's basically just an egg that will spawn somewhere at the back. So, just be aware. This egg has very high initiative. So, this boss, couple of things to know. That they will spawn corrupted daughter until the egg hatches. But the egg can take turns very fast. So, try to defeat as many daughters as possible in the beginning. Just to make things easier. Okay, so first we just move up and trying to defeat all the enemies. The boss will spawn at the end here. That's where the boss will spawn, so just be aware. Okay. So what I'm doing now is just trying to move all my daughters up. And try to get to the boss as quickly as I can. Not necessary here, but I will use Straddle Rounds. Just so I can kill the corrupted daughters quickly. Now, the reason I'm moving up here is because, as I said, the boss spawns somewhere here. And you need to damage the boss in order to win, right? I don't know what the most AP you can have. Is it 150? I'm guessing that you can have more. Like always, the Pain Slinger first, because she's the most dangerous. Okay, so try to kill the Pain Slinger first. I will do that with Chris, so don't worry. Detonating shot, boom.
Impressive. Shred them down.
Okay, the reason Melody does so much damage is because the leader buff. Okay, the aura leader, that buff, that gives that 40% extra damage, and the aura can actually stack on top of each other, so you can start doing really high damages. Okay, I'm just gonna move Claire up. Just to engage the boss.
Impressive.
Yes. Remember the suffering of your past.
Impressive.
And just moving up. Now, this boss will spawn. It's the Nucleus. Okay? So, this is a boss that will spawn. And once it spawns, I will show you. It's like an egg. So the boss will hatch from the egg once you destroy it.
Must we face?
Okay, so the boss will spawn corrupted daughters. Okay, when the corrupted daughter spawns, they act like just a new enemy spawn. These melee units can't attack you unless you're in melee range. They work like a new spawn enemy in the missions. It's the same. So these melee enemies cannot attack you unless you are in their melee range. However, the ranged daughters like the Pain Slinger can attack you even as they just spawn. Now, the Nucleus have very little movement range, but it is able to teleport with Instinct. So if you get too close to him, he will teleport with this skill called Instinct. It deals up to 750 damage to all daughters surround him and then teleport away. So immobilizing him isn't going to do anything. He doesn't move. The egg doesn't move anyway. Reanimation, so he can bring a corrupted daughter onto a battlefield, and he will keep spawning corrupted daughters every turn. Reshaping, he can reshape a corrupted daughter into a hope breaker. And the first crack is at 40% of his HP, resets initiative to 0. Okay, I think it's around the 20,000 mark. I can't remember. Yeah, so he will spawn corrupted daughter every turn. You notice how he takes turn at 28 initiative? So the boss takes turn very, very quickly. Same as the final boss, they take turns very, very quickly. So what the final form of the boss does is he takes turn very quickly and he pushes you back in the timeline. So you can take turns multiple times before you can do anything. So just be careful. The final boss takes turn very quickly. So basically very, very fast. So here we just use Chris to kill the corrupted Soul Slinger or the Pain Slinger. So I'm gonna buff up my daughter. Yeah, I'm going to use Shadow Rounds. So I can deal out high damage. I want to kill this enemy as soon as possible. I want to kill them before they can even act.
So...
Okay, we are one tile away, so we move up. And then we will shoot the boss. So the only way to kill the boss is trying to do damage. Okay. Now you can have a look at the stat of the boss. He has 70% resistance to initiative delay, so he has quite high resistance to initiative delay. Okay. So he's not immune to getting delayed, but he does have 70% resistance to initiative delay. The boss acts very quickly, and all he does is continuously spawn corrupted daughters.
Never end?
So the sooner you defeat him, the better it is. Okay, check where the corrupted daughter is at. Okay. She's here. That's okay. I want to put my shield bearer on towards the left hand side. There's a good reason for that. So I'm not going to take care of the daughter, because corrupted daughter, because she's quite far away, so it doesn't really matter too much. Do not get too close to him with your melee characters, okay? He will teleport away. So he will keep spawning corrupted daughters. Now,
forever.
You need to be careful, because he takes turns very quickly. He can start spawning a lot of daughters very quickly. Now, notice the way I'm placing my character diagonal to each other. There's a reason why I'm doing that. You don't have to do it, but it's a good idea to do it this way. I forgot to spam Shadow Rounds. So Shadow Rounds here can stack. Okay, I'll show you. Oh, she's outside of the range. It's okay. So, what Shadow Rounds can do is it can stack. So I have Shadow Rounds again. I show you, it can stack. Okay, so it's the first crack. It will set his initiative to 0. Okay, so after the first crack, he's gonna have the same skill: Instinct, Reanimation, Reshaping. And he's gonna have a second crack around 80% of each HP. It's around the 10,000 HP mark. So I was right, around the 20,000 HP mark is the first crack. The second crack is around the 10,000 HP, but don't quote me on it. It has Infection. After 25 initiative units, shoot a beam in 4 directions. When a beam touches an enemy or an ally for the first time, they send out 4 new beams. Daughters and corrupted daughters suffer up to 0 damage per beam that touches them. So that's why I'm placing my daughters like this, diagonal towards each other. So if any of the beam touches them, the beam do not touch together. Now this skill doesn't do any damage, but the after the crack, so after the real boss spawns, she has an attack that can do damage. So just be aware. See how quickly Shadow Rounds stack and do damage. Okay, look at it. It already did a lot of damage. So you can have a look. The boss still only have 70% resistance to initiative delay, but later on the boss will have 100%. Just be aware.
You accomplish nothing.
They keep coming for us.
Okay, here we have to make a decision whether to attack him or not. Whether we're gonna attack him or not. So look at the way I place my daughter. Okay, this is very important. Okay, diagonal to each other. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll skip a turn. There's a good reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So now I'm going to, because after I defeat this boss, a new boss will spawn. The final form of the boss will spawn. And yeah. I'm just going to give all my allies resistance to initiative delay. And buff them up. Now the second crack would occur. Okay, after the second crack, we have hatching. After 30 initiative units, deal up to 2,500 damage to all daughters on the map and kills all corrupted daughter. Now, you don't want that to hit you because that will probably wipe out most of your daughter. So just be very, very careful. And he still only has 70% resistance to initiative delay. So he's going to do hatching, but we will be able to act first, so don't worry. Okay. Shield charge. This is why I'm leaving shield charge for this. Alright, so the first part of the boss is done. So the egg has been destroyed. Now we will see the final form of the boss.
From a single seed, I am born. From your corpses, my body. From your suffering, my triumph.
Okay.
They keep coming for us.
Yeah, the music will change. Hold on 1 second. We'll just save the fight here, because otherwise I won't be able to record everything. Okay, so we have our shield bearer. This boss is acting in the 30th initiative unit. Okay, and we are going to use first Blacksmith's Grace. So we are going to first armor buff. Now, have a look what the boss does, okay? The boss has Ordeal. Switch position with the furthest daughter. She then explodes and deals up to 700 damage to herself and surrounding daughters. Very dangerous attack. So she was swap position with Carla. And this is why I put Carla here. With armor buff, she's going to be able to tank most of the damage. She also has Pain, which steals up to 175 HP for all daughters each time suffering is attacked. I don't know how that works. Actually, I do not understand. It doesn't never seem to proc. Love is interrupt the next melee attack launched by a daughter. Deals up to 600 damage and pushes her back 10 tiles. If she encounters an obstacle, she deals up to 500 more damage. So this is a melee interruption attack that I'm talking about. Hardship. See, this is hardship. Deal up to 1000 damage in a cross-shaped area surrounding each daughter. Daughter take additional damage for each affected area they come in contact with. This is why I put all my daughters in this particular diagonal shape. So his skill called Hardship will not get me. Distress, delay all daughter by 20 initiative units. This is the initiative delaying skill. It's an AoE initiative delay skill. Okay? Hardship is the reason why I put my daughters like this. Now, if you look at his skill, this game will bug out. And you'll just see the AoE map on there all the time. I don't know why. Purity changes phase more than 40% of HP for the first time, resets initiative to 0. It happens around 50,000 HP-ish, so just be careful. Hardship is the reason why I put my daughters like this, okay? So, we're going to position Carla here. We are not going to do anything here. So, we are going to use Shadow Rounds. Now, hardship can be interrupted, okay? So it's an attack and skill that can be interrupted. So it's not something not interruptible. You can actually interrupt it with Interception Round. So So just buff everybody up. And then spam Shadow Rounds. So now you have to just deal with this AoE thing on the bottom of the screen. It's just a bug. Sometimes it happens. There's nothing I can do about it. It's annoying. I know, annoying like hell, but I can't do anything about this. So now she has resistance to initiative delay, making her very strong. So you need to take care of the last corrupted daughter, but it's not the top priority here.
Is it gone for good?
Okay, I'm just gonna put my daughter right here, and I'm going to armor buff again. So I just have extra armor, and we will have to let the boss act eventually. And the boss would now swap position with Carla. Now, the boss does have HP. What do you call it? The boss does have 200 armor, so, and a ton of HP. It's gonna do 0 damage because of Blacksmith's Grace. Okay, Hardship. See? It does all across pattern attack. So the boss alternates between Hardship and Distress. So just be careful. The next one is gonna be Distress. Okay? Which initiative delays every single daughter. And Hardship, that's why I put my daughters in this diagonal pattern, to avoid hardship. Okay, that's why. I apologize for the graphical glitch on the ground. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay, so Shadow Rounds is stacking. It's still... the boss still has plenty of health, so I don't need to worry too much. Now, she cannot proc Lightning Strike, because Lightning Strike technically is not a ranged attack. Or technically is not a melee attack. It's a ranged attack. So, okay. So it's around 50,000 HP. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put my daughter here. And then I'm going to attack her. Why? I'm going to trigger the attack called Love. Okay, she has a melee interruption skill called Love. And why am I triggering this attack? Because I can later on use Menacing Stance to deal out heavy amounts of damage. So why did I put my daughter here? Am I looking for a backstab? No. The reason for that is because her melee interruption, Love, pushes your daughter 10 tiles away. So she's not able to push me to the environmental objects. Yes, I will take extra damage, but I have 419 armor. It doesn't matter. Okay? She's going to be able to interrupt this attack. And do 0 damage. And then I'm going to end my turn. Okay. Then I'm going to Spirit Burst everybody. I'm going to use Interception Rounds. I'm going to use Shadow Rounds. But I'm not going to attack her yet. I'm going to use Interception Rounds. And I'm going to use Shadow Rounds. Just spam, spam, spam. Spam everything because it's the final part of the boss battle. You don't need to hold anything back. Okay, so now I'm going to Spirit Burst everybody. Why do I Spirit Burst everybody? Because Spirit Burst with Claire has resistance to initiative delay. So the boss will try to delay you. The next skill the boss is going to use when she takes her turn is Distress. So by having resistance to initiative delay, Distress is less useful. Okay, and then we are going to Spirit Haste somebody. I think Melody. I think Jill. Alright, I messed that up. What I meant to do was Carla. Okay, but doesn't matter too much. Still just spam the same thing. Yeah, so notice I can't use Spirit Burst because you can't use the skill within a certain time limit. Okay, so now we are going to use Menacing Stance. Why are we going to use Menacing Stance? Because the boss no longer has a melee interruption ability. And we are going to go for a backstab. We're going to deal as much damage as possible. Now, the boss now has 196% to delay initiative delay. She cannot be delayed anymore. And she has a skill, Ordeal Pain, but Ordeal is going to hit for much larger area. And she has Torment. So she will sacrifice 2,500 HP to increase its damage by 50%. Hardship, Distress, and also Affliction. This is the most important skill I want to talk about because it marks a daughter, then kills her after 35 initiative units. She's now able to instant kill your daughter. You cannot do anything about it. It will just instant kill. Basically, the suffering will go like, you die, and you will die. There's nothing that you can do about it. And you cannot delay her anymore. She has so much resistance to initiative delay, you cannot delay her anymore. It's impossible to delay her. So just try to dish out as much damage as possible. If you do enough damage and you start critting for very high damage, it is possible to kill it before it even is able to act, like what I did now. Okay, Chris is critting for some ridiculous amount of damage. That's why I'm able to do this. Alright, GG. So, because I was doing so much crit, the boss isn't even able to act. And isn't even able to use Affliction. So, I guess, GG, I did it. That was crazy. Goodbye. All thanks to the backstab. Alright, but Chris didn't get the kill. Alright, that was a lot easier than I thought because I set that up properly and Chris was able to hit him 4 times with regular attack and menacing stance on a backstab. So that was just doing a huge amount of damage. Okay. GG. We did it. All right. We don't need to watch this. We've seen this before. The ending. Alright, we did it. 33 days. Now, we did lose a daughter in one of the mission, but we didn't fail any of the mission, so that was great. And we succeeded the first recollection. 1 second. So, we will play a second recollection. So we will play the next recollection as well.
Remember.
Okay. We are not going to activate any remembrance for the moment. It's not that necessary. We will activate it later for the third, what do you call it? For the third recollection. Yeah. We are not going to do it for the second recollection. We're going to go through the game much like we did in the first recollection. So that's the second recollection. And all right. Oh, hold on. My bad. What did I do that for? Okay. So we will continue this later in the second recollection. Let's quit to the main menu. Alright, so what I'll do now is I will start another new game. So what I'll do now is I will start a new game again. And I need to go through the detailed boss strategy for the first, second, and third boss. I missed it here. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And after I do the detailed boss strategy for the first, second, and third boss, then I'll go back to beating the second recollection. So the boss battles we missed is the first, second, and third boss. So that game I will just go to the third boss, then I'll stop. And then we'll get back to the second recollection. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks all for watching. I do appreciate the view. I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.